Welcome to It's Personal, Finance Canada. I'm Christine Conway.
And I'm Cameron Conway.
And this podcast is a very personal look at personal finance in Canada. Welcome to It's Personal Finance Canada. I'm Christine Conway, here with Cameron Conway. And if you're in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, or the Yukon, feel free to find us at braunfinancial.com. This week, with where the economy is, we wanted to find some useful but challenging money-saving tips for you. So we scoured the internet. We've looked at our personal experience. We've got a few great anecdotal stories in there as well. This isn't going to be easy, but if being frugal is what you need right now, these are some great tips to help you get a few bucks extra in your pocket and gain some advantage.
Yeah, last month we did an episode kind of about like bad financial advice you shouldn't listen to. So we figured we kind of counterbalance it with some helpful advice. Some of them may not be easy to do, but it's a couple little things you can do to kind of help shore up your finances, make those dollars stretch, and make the things you have hopefully last a little bit longer.
That's right. We wanted to get really, really practical today because we need things that we can implement right away if money's tight to make that dollar stretch just a little bit longer. And like you said, Cam, things are tough all around right now. So any little thing that you can do or any advantage that you can get is absolutely in your best interest at this point in time. So we've got 10 hot items here and we'll take you through them one at a time. Number one on our list was those buy nothing apps or groups on social media. It's usually a group. So this can be, it used to be back in the day when you moved or when your kids outgrew their stuff or you needed new clothes or you got a new hobby or changed an old one, you would usually find a bunch of stuff in your home that you just plain didn't want anymore. And there was the challenge of getting rid of it. What do I do with this older stuff? Do I give it away? Do I take it to the dump? Do I go to like a Goodwill or a local charity and donate it? So donations were kind of the usual route that a lot of people would take, but now communities are much more accessible through social media, right? Like you can have a much more personable way for people to connect through groups, through things like that have a shared common interest. So these buy nothing or take it, it's free type of groups are fantastic way to serve a community because you feel really supported where you live and the item is actually extending its useful life as well. So there's a huge benefit there too.
Yeah, in some ways, this is kind of the extension of, well, I don't know how it is where you are, but like I grew up just outside Winnipeg and like in the 90s, like the garage sale culture was pretty strong. You go out any Saturday or Sunday, it'd be like 15, 20, 30 houses with garage sales going on. But depending where you are, like where we are now in BC, that just doesn't happen. And so people are looking for ways to get rid of stuff. They're looking for ways to get some good stuff at a good price. I know like a lot of like discount thrift stores have kind of fallen out of fashion because of, well, extremely high prices that they've been charging because flippers realize they can buy stuff cheap and flip it. So the thrift stores have kind of just cut them out and just are charging like 80% of retail instead of like 30-40% like they used to. But these kind of groups like on Facebook, there's one for our town where essentially people will just flip back and forth things that are free. I've got this dining set. Come take it away from me. I don't want it. I won't charge you. But this is one place you can look at if your city or your town has something like this to either offload some stuff easily or to find some stuff you need for free or very cheap.
Well, yeah, from the viewpoint of the person giving it, it's cheaper than a trip to the dump. And for the people receiving it, I mean, man, that feels good to feel supported in your community where you are. And I mean, there are still definitely some good discounted secondhand or charitable run or thrift stores out there. Some do still offer very significant discounts, but nothing beats free, right? It's a little bit of a different feeling. It hits different when you can provide an item that maybe you couldn't go out today and buy on your own to your family, or give them new to them clothes or something along those lines that didn't cost you anything. It's just such a nice way to kind of pass things along. And like I said, extend the useful life of that item so that it's not sitting in a landfill and it's helping everyone as money is so tight right now.
Yes, this is again kind of like the big extension of just how sometimes things were. Like I remember even our town, like I said, we had a good garage sale culture, but also if you had a piece of furniture, you just put it on your front porch and it was usually gone. I think our record was we got rid of a couch in less than 5 minutes once. Just put it out in the corner, went back inside, looked out the window and it was already gone.
That's insane. Hey, neighborhood thrifting at its best. Well, and I know in one of the neighborhoods that we lived in when we first moved here, you could see items laying in front of the sidewalk there for days and days and rained on, and the sign is faded. And it was awful. And then they kind of relied on the community to pick it up at some point in time, if the community would do that a couple times a year. Or as it might be, right, if people aren't willing to take it to a garbage disposal. There's just so many benefits all around. But from the viewpoint of the person that's looking for something new to them, what a great way. Before you start thrifting, just seeing what's available out there for free. Number 2 on our list goes to another essential item. Food. This is something that we all need, and we all need to get items that have as much nutritional value as possible. Depending on our lifestyle choices, our diet choices, if we have kids, it's so important to get everyone the nutrients that they have. I know more and more people have had to rely on food banks during this tough time, so this is a nice alternative to kind of subsidize in. And yes, it costs money, but it gives you the power to choose the items that you want. So I'm referring to apps that will offer heavily discounted food that's about to expire. So we see this in our grocery store that we shop at, where there's a "this is for tonight" sticker. And you usually kind of see the progression through the grocery store where maybe the item is on sale first and now it's on fire sale. And this is kind of one last kick at the can for both the retailer, the grocery store, but also the consumer to get something at a great price if you're willing to kind of use it now or freeze it immediately for later.
Yeah, this is kind of the grocery store's last chance to get rid of something at a higher price than they get as a tax write-off.
Well, and it's an item that would be otherwise worthless or lost, right? It's something that if you're in the business of any items that are perishable, by very nature, if they're not off your shelf, you're kind of stuck with them. So this is a benefit both ways. For people that are willing to kind of do the work, see where the deals are, meal plan a little bit differently, maybe have a little bit of a drive in there to get to the store that has the item that you're looking for on sale. This can be a useful tool. Like a lot of these things, if you're willing to trade a little bit of time to save a little bit of money, where in this case, money for a lot of people seems to be in more short supply these days, this could make sense for you. And like I said, it feels like a bit of a win-win. So the grocery stores, the retailers that are offering this type of a program, it's actually a good benefit and it's a social service. Although, like I said, anything when you're dealing with business, it's not all altruism. Of course, there's money to be made, even if it's just recouping costs.
Yeah, like I said, these grocery stores are trying to get the last sliver of profit out of something before they just can't sell it or do anything with it anymore. But for people who are kind of like a bargain hunting and looking around, this would be a place to get a few things with a short shelf life just to kind of get through that week.
Well, and these types of apps as well also apply to things like gas prices. There is an app, I had one on my phone for a while when gas was a little bit crazy, where it would let you see the local area here and you could see which gas stations were priced at what at any point in time during the day. So again, if you're looking to save that couple cents on your liter and again are okay with that little bit of trade of time to drive to a different gas station and you're not as brand loyal, you're okay with doing that, it could provide some savings if this was something that you did consistently over a period of time. And we all know that commuting, driving your car to and from work to do the activities that we enjoy, this can be a huge item for a lot of us in our budgets, especially if you live far away from where you work and that commute is a big one. So this can be hugely helpful to people that spend a lot of money kind of unwillingly, but have to kind of do it as part of the cost of doing business.
Yeah, if you live in like Metro Vancouver, unfortunately, the only answer to get a cheaper gas price is to drive all the way out to Abbotsford and get around some of those transit gas taxes. It's about 17, 18 cents cheaper out there.
Well, that's right. But hey, carbon pricing is gone now.
Transit tax isn't.
So we saw a little bit of a relief there, but you're right, Cam, not all of it, right? So let's get back to this food and driving train that we've kind of been on. Let's talk about delivery services. I think since COVID, we have all absolutely fallen in love with the convenience of having someone else deliver basically anything and everything that you can need or think of and consume to your house any time of day you want, or so it seems.
Yeah, this is something that kind of really took off during the pandemic, where you can just get anything in your local area or a little bit further brought directly to your house, hopefully to your house, hopefully still warm. That's a whole other problem. That's why I only have one app on my phone and not two anymore. But I won't mention which is which, but this is the convenience factor. So not only are you paying a higher price for the food itself, a lot of these restaurants do a markup to compensate for the delivery fees and the service fees. And then you've got the tip that people are 50-50 on these days, and extra service fees. So again, this is an exchange that people have done they don't want to spend the time, so they're going to spend the money. But this is another area of your life where the bills can rack up pretty quickly. And again, you're usually paying quite a bit more, sometimes like 30% more for the same thing you could have gotten yourself.
Well, and you hope it gets to you and not your neighbor, right? And if you're living in an apartment or townhouse or some of these more confusing neighborhoods, man, oh man, oh man, it can be a challenge, I think, on both sides of the fence for the driver as well as the person just trying to receive their meal in a timely manner.
Yes, the one app that will go unnamed that I deleted from my phone, I stopped using it because our order went through 3 different cities before it finally showed up to us.
It's true. And well, I think, maybe sometimes people give priority to people that tips, or sometimes people plan their route based on profitability or whatever their strategy might be. As a driver, it doesn't always benefit the end consumer who might end up sitting on their couch hungry thinking, man, I should have just picked it up myself.
Yes, it was an hour and a half away for something that was like 400 meters away from our house. We had kids. We didn't want to go out. It was a big mistake. We deleted the app.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? This is kind of the way it is right now. So when we think about these convenience things, it's not about trading time. This one is purely about convenience because it's going to take time to place that order, for the meal to be cooked, for it to get to you, or groceries or whatever other type of delivery service that you're doing in that particular day. This is that siren call of convenience. You're home, you're cozy, you have other responsibilities like kids. You just don't want to go out again. So since you're not really saving time, how can we find another alternative? And this is where having a meal ready to go in your freezer when you're just like, oh, I can't do one more thing today, I don't want to cook, having those little extra emergency break glass when meals that aren't going to cost you as much as it would at a restaurant or takeout or delivery all in, that can be a great money saver as well. If you can't beat that urge, the next best thing that you can do is plan for it and be ready when it strikes.
Yeah, so this kind of comes down to just having a little bit of foresight. If you can get a good deal on something that's frozen, something that's got a good shelf life, stick it in the freezer, stick it in the pantry, have it ready to go, and just kind of get in the habit of just budgeting in that time to get that stuff done. Because if you order something, you're waiting 20, 30 minutes anyway, so you're not saving on the time side, like Christine said. So this is just about being prepared, being ready, having that good little stockpile ready to go for days where you just don't want to.
And we all have days when we just don't want to.
Sometimes those days chain together.
Sometimes they're weeks, sometimes they're months. Yeah, exactly. But if you find yourself on the other side of the equation and you're the person needing to make a little bit extra money, these apps have been a great way because of the low barrier to entry for pretty well anyone with a vehicle and a valid driver's license and the time to choose and plan their own jobs and schedules and make an extra buck. So from that point of view, as adding in to the economy, as providing a service that people have shown, do want and will pay for, it's a great way on both sides. So like I said, if I'm having a lazy day, I just don't want to go out, you'll come to me. But if I need some extra money and I'm willing to drive around for a little bit, I can be on the roster, I can choose when I'm going to work, and I can bring a few extra dollars home later and maybe pay someone else to bring me my food at a different day.
Now, before everyone gets really gung-ho on kind of like stocking the freezer, stocking the pantry, another thing you have to watch out for is just not overbuying and essentially forgetting what you have, which is a big problem about someone I know.
No fingers pointed, but he may be looking directly in my direction. No, I am absolutely, it's funny mentality, right? Where you see something on sale. I have, I guess, these things around food security, safety, all of that stuff, where I like to have a lot of extra stuff at home. So whether that's supplies, whether that's food, and yes, without frequent reminders from my loving husband, things can often get forgotten, right? And there's, of course, the danger here of wasting money because you're concerned. You're concerned about
What I was going to say was you cook the stuff at the front of the pantry. I cook the stuff in the back of the pantry.
Well, yeah, exactly. Cam has the foresight, thankfully, in our household so that the extra items that I buy aren't wasted. But this is actually a strategy in and of itself. If the budget is tight, going on a bit of a treasure hunt around your own home can be incredibly helpful. There's that freezer that we were talking about, that there might be stuff that's still good and not freezer burnt, hopefully, lining the bottom. There could be stuff in the storage pantry all the way to the back that you hadn't thought of in a while. Check the dates, make sure it's still okay, not expired. That can be part of your new meal, and maybe you don't need to spend as much this week to get you through on groceries with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of, okay, not soul searching, but maybe pantry searching. And this can work for items in other areas of your house as well, like the bathroom, like how often do we stock up on toothpaste or paper products or things like that that are easily consumable, but also easily forgotten when you stick them in a dark corner and don't go in there or don't look at them often. And part of my problem is, like I said, I'm very much attracted to that sale. So if I'm constantly rebuying to save that few cents or that few dollars on the item that I know I'm going to use, I need someone like Cam, or I need those extra reminders to keep what we do have in constant rotation so that it's not wasted and it does get to see the light of day and see a useful life.
Yeah, so the moral of that story is to just keep doing an inventory of what you've already got. Make sure you're conscientious to check the back of the shelves, not just the front of the shelves. And it can be a good thing to get those things on sale, but make sure you actually use it. Otherwise, you just wasted a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. And remind yourself when you're at the store and you see those sales, and I'm talking to myself here, that, oh my goodness, I already have 5 of those. Yes, it's a great price, but I don't need more today.
And bonus tip, don't shop with your kids.
Well, and also understanding that certain core items do go on sale regularly, right? So if your shopping pattern kind of falls into that, and I mean, if you use the apps and do online ordering, online delivering, they track, of course, the data, the things that you're buying. So you're more likely to see a promotion for something that you've frequently purchased or purchased in the past. So keep in mind that these sales are not finite. They will occur again. So sometimes I have to kind of turn a blind eye and remind myself that this is not lost forever. I'm actually happier keeping the money in my pocket for now until I actually need to spend again on this item. So let's move on to number 5. And this is one that can be a little bit fun, but this is another trade of time for money. And it's a simple question that basically asks, what can I DIY that kind of gets close enough to the same result as paying someone else to do it? So these could be the little conveniences that we outsource. It can be as simple as a haircut at home or coloring your hair at home. It can be as simple as running the coffee maker instead of doing that coffee run, repurposing old clothes, patching worn stuff. It's mostly deciding what you think your skill set would align with and if it's worth the time and effort to learn that little bit to save the money. So this is where you can do a little bit of a cost-benefit analysis for yourself, or basically just say, okay, how much time would it take me? How many hours am I going to put in? How much am I going to save? Compare that to your hourly rate if you're working. And then say, if I learn this skill, how often will I repeat this? So how often will I reuse this skill versus paying someone else? So that can be one of the decision-making factors in deciding if it's worth the investment of your time. Because like I said, it's great to save money, but we're always trading something for it. And in this case, it's time. And I would say as well, there will be something, no matter how good the online videos are, that you just should not try at home. Please, please, please. Some things are dangerous, some things are risky, something could cause bigger problems. So I think that rule of thumb would be that if the cost of fixing a mistake would be more than the money you saved trying to DIY this thing, pay the professional, bite the bullet, and understanding things like electricity with your electrician, plumbing with your plumber, depending on what it is and what your natural skill set is. It's not worth it to go cheap. Like, what do they say? Never hire a cheap divorce lawyer, right? Some professionals are worth paying for time and time and time again. And I would say that for your financial planner as well. But of course I would, right, Cam?
Yeah, that's right. Like one thing we like to pick on is kind of like the coffee routine where we are like at Starbucks or Waves getting like a big latte or something like that is like almost $7 now. So you do that 5 days a week. That's about between $30 and $45. And for that same price, I got like a 2-pound bag of really good beans for $40. So again, just these little things, you can just figure out how to do yourself, how to cut out someone else from doing it because you think, oh, someone else does it. But yeah, someone else does the work. They got to put in their time. They got to put in their profit margin and everything else, where it's generally cheaper for you to do a lot of things yourself and just learn some of those skills. There's YouTube videos for absolutely everything out there. So find the little things in your life where you can kind of trim out the unnecessary experts, but then there's other things where you just 100% get someone to do it for you. But little things like coffee, fixing a patch in your clothes or something like that, it's a good skill to have, and just all these little ways to kind of save money in the long run.
Well, yeah. And I mean, part of the DIYing is finding things that can be part of your routine so that you do them over the long term. So a lot of those things that you mentioned, Cam, can be done, can become part of the daily habit. And I know for myself, like my dad gave me a steamer. So instead of taking my shirts to the dry cleaner, my work shirts that need to be wrinkle-free and look a certain way, I can do it at home after I do my washing and my laundry and my hanging and they're dried. It's all good. So it's just one more thing in a regular step of something that I do often. And then it's like, okay, now I've saved outsourcing this and I can still look half decent when I go to work the next day, provided that no one has jumped on me or spilled something on me before I make it to the office.
Yeah, just
50-50.
Yeah, and it's just finding that break-even point, like probably after a month or two of using it, you've already paid for it. So again, just doing these little math and finding out these long-term solutions instead of having to shell out your credit card over and over again.
Or if you can get it for free, like point number 1, even better. So let's move on to item number 6. And this is using as much of an item's useful life as possible. So this applies to big things. It applies to small things. It can be as small as that toothpaste stuck in your toothpaste tube or the jam at the bottom of the jam jar. And it can be as big as driving your car longer, wearing your clothes longer, taking really, really good care of your stuff, paying a little bit more to service something versus replacing it. Because the servicing cost, that cost of taking a little bit extra care, is usually going to be less than the full replacement cost of the item in most cases. So this is just kind of that gentle reminder that if you're good to your things, they will be good to you and they will last longer and they will be around longer. And if you can kind of separate yourself from that need for new or that need for flashy or that need for, I don't know, in style or current or whatever it might be, stick with the classics, stick with the things that are timeless, and you can make it last.
Yeah, the only person you are really making happy and really impressing by just chasing the new and getting all the stuff over again is the marketing department of that company.
Not your husband? No, you're more happy when I save money, so that's good. So use less, live on less, live with less. Those are kind of the mottos here, right? And like I said, this is a sign of the times. We're doing this podcast today because there are a lot of people reaching out that are stretched, and we need practical solutions to help us on the day-to-day. When times are good and money is flowing and you're meeting your goals and you're investing well, loosen it up a little bit, right? Enjoy what you have, make the most of today as long as you know you're on target for tomorrow. But when things are bad, that's when you need things like this to kind of get you through. So moving on to number 7, I actually like this one because it encourages shopping local, and that's something that I'm a big advocate of. There are a lot of places that will have coupon books, local discounts. I mean, chambers of commerce will connect you to lots of members where you can get some discounted products or services. A lot of businesses are very willing to get people in the door for the first time at a discount because, of course, they're looking for a repeat buyer once you've had a great experience there. So let's say you're looking to go out for a nice meal, try a new restaurant in your area. it's possible to find local promotions, local coupon books, local discounts, or local sites that promote local businesses that might tell you about somewhere new that it could be a great experience, right? Could be something that you would come to love and enjoy again and again and again. And it lowers the risk. If you're like me and you kind of like the same and the same and the same, it lowers the risk of something new because they're already giving you a discounted product or service or meal or whatever it might be as their price to get you in the door.
Yes, I kind of have like a love-hate relationship when it comes to flyers and coupon books because I worked at the post office for 8 years and I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of flyers I delivered. But at the same time, it can help you find a good deal. Like even these bookcases here behind us were put together by a company we found through like one of those like multi-company coupon books. So there's the good and the bad. I'm glad I don't have to deliver them anymore.
Makes you look at mail a little bit differently there, hey? But yeah, it feels like some days this is all we get in the mail anymore, local flyers and bills. But like I said, it's another way of getting connected with the local community. And it's a good way to have a good night out or find a good local contractor or service that, like I said, you can hopefully enjoy again and again and again by making that first step. And of course, finding a discount at this point in time when you need the discount, when it can help you the most. So the next tip is actually all about community as well. And this one is so important for your mindset. Connecting with other people that are doing the same. Finding a community, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's like a meetup group or a forum or like a Facebook group, whatever it might be, people that like to talk about saving money, sharing their ideas, talking about their experiences. And the thing that I think is the magic of all of this is when you start hearing these things repeatedly, once you start seeing them over and over again, it can start to normalize it for you. And this can be important if you're someone that maybe feels a little bit uncomfortable with something that's a little bit new or different. Like if we go to point number 1, maybe taking something for free, it makes you feel a little uncomfortable because you think, well, maybe someone else needs it more, or should I take this? Should I not? There might be some guilt there about receiving a benefit for nothing. But when you see...
Well, I don't know, where I grew up, first come, first serve. If it's on the street and it's free, whoever's the fastest is the one that gets it.
Okay, so maybe this is a me problem, not a universal problem. But no, like sometimes you just want to make sure that the person who needs it the most is getting it, right? But in this case, you're right. A lot of people, you got to deal with your immediate needs as they come up. That's kind of what this is all about. So yeah, if the couch is on the curb, then it's free game. Anyone can grab the couch. That's what you were saying, eh? But yes, no, but the point of the exercise here is connecting yourself with people that are like-minded, having conversations or exposing yourself to conversations that are being had about the same thing that you're trying to do. Not only will you see new ideas that you maybe hadn't thought of yet, but you're going to feel like you're not alone going through this. And if you're looking to save money because times are really hard right now, you're going to connect with people that have gotten through it and have been on the other side. So they've been on both sides, where you are now, and then on the better side of it. And the people that are usually the most generous and that give the most are often the people that have themselves experienced a hardship or experienced a lack or the tightening of the belt and didn't like it. So when they were in a position of doing better, they wanted to open that door to other people to help them move along. So that is the benefit, again, of community. And like I said, with social media, being able to connect us to the people that are immediately around us, it makes us so much easier than it had been in the past. Or, don't even have to be immediately around you. They can be people that you meet online that are living the same thing and could be on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and if you want to go that far trying to find people, it could just be your spouse, could be some family, could just be a couple of friends, just some people that's to kind of like strategize on how to kind of find better deals, how to work with each other to do this kind of stuff, and just find someone other than yourself to try and run this stuff through. And just the more people looking, the easier it is to find things.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and that whole accountability buddy that we kind of affectionately dubbed in a previous episode, just having someone that you can talk to about your bills, about your money, about your stuff. And that will be equally transparent with you about what they're really going through also. And I would say on the flip side of this, it's not just who you're connecting to, but it's who you're removing, what influences you're removing from your life as well. So for some people, that might be unfollowing certain social media accounts that are very, very flashy or that make you feel jealous or like you're not having enough and you should have more. It could be temporarily unsubscribing to maybe your favorite store that sends you new items all the time to look at, because it's an amazing thing. If you don't know the item exists, you're not going to want it. And if you don't want it, you're not going to buy it, and you're not going to feel worse for not having it. So sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is remove that item from your mind, remove it from your visual field, like that Stanford marshmallow test with the kids, where if the item was not present, it's less of a problem. Even if you know that there are items like it, they're out there in the big world. If it's not immediately in front of you, it's easier to resist. So if you do find yourself late at night scrolling the internet and you find something to buy, do yourself the favor of not pushing that buy button until the next day. Get a good night's sleep. Sleep on it. Think of if this is really how you want to spend that money, or if you're just trying to solve a problem, or you're just in a mood at that point in time, or you just need a good night's sleep. You're just a little tired. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, and if you really do kind of want to play the kind of keep up with the Joneses game online, just learn some basic AI prompting to do some image generation for you. It's a lot cheaper.
Well, aren't a lot of the social media accounts out there fake anyways and AI generated? And don't they have those little tags on them now that let you know that it's not a real family and it's not a real... It's crazy what this world is tuning into. Not always. Scares me. Just a little bit. Reality is what we make it now, it seems sometimes these days, eh? It's a little bit outside of the norm. But let's move on. Let's go to item number 9. We're almost at the end of our list. Think in terms of your biggest costs. Big decisions. This is something that will have a material impact on your cash flow and the way that you can meet your other goals and spend. This can be as big as what job you have, how long your commute is, where you live, the type of housing that you're in, what city you live in, what the cost of living is in that area. Those big things can move the needle. And while this is not a short-term fix or a short-term decision, this is something that if you find yourself consistently behind the 8 ball, maybe you should take a look at. Maybe there is a big piece in your life that doesn't quite fit as it relates to your income level and skill set. So one of the factors could change, whether that's income level and skill set increasing, or maybe the items that you're picking, the housing, the city, the car, the larger pieces, maybe those could change as well. But that's a deeply personal decision that we encourage people to think about themselves and make for themselves. And finally, number 10, finding as much free or low-cost activities, again, in your area that you can. And in my mind, this makes me think of like parks, city rec centers, pickup teams, little sports activities that you can find locally, things that are not going to break the bank. Remember, this is all about building a lifestyle. The point we just discussed in this one work together perfectly, and there can be a trade-off. Maybe you want to stay in that neighborhood, live in the big house, have that good experience there, but you're trading off your entertainment a little bit. So it's not one or the other. It can be a push and pull and a give and take as well. So all of these tips, from the way we shop, to the way we choose what we're going to buy, to maybe our management of our impulse control when we want things, these are all tips to help us not only save money, but ultimately create a life that we love, that we can enjoy sustainably, in good times, in bad times. And in the good times when there's extra money, that gives you a chance to set goals that you're excited about, that will give you a better future. And in the bad times, hopefully the margins are good enough to help you maintain your standard of living. But if it's not, if things really do get hard, as it does for all of us from time to time, a lot of us go through these processes where we need to change the way we live for a while and make other decisions like trying to find free or trying to find discounted food or using the local food banks or shopping secondhand or whatever it might be. And there's absolutely no shame in that. This is a sign of the times and an understanding that a lot of things that happen in this world can be outside of our control. You can be very well educated, you can be very well skilled, and you can be very easily replaced at your corporation if they make a business decision that they want to hire a different type of person, or if they want to hire younger and pay a little less for that particular role. Or you can find yourself in a position where you've got great skills, you've got a great job, but because of the economy, that company's not making the sales it needs to make, and your job is now in danger or on the line. So it happens to all of us. No one is immune. So having quick tips like this that can get us through is incredibly beneficial. That when you're in that pinch, when you need to save some money, sure, it may not be easy, but it's incredibly useful and it can help you get through a tough time. So we hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you'd like to talk to someone about your personal finances, feel free to find us at Braun Financial, braunfinancial.com. And until next time, take care.
And all the best.